that death is the last point in this life that we have, right? We are born, we age, and we die. And that it's not something that is imposed on us, but it's the conclusion, it's the inevitable conclusion, at least for now. Biology and science can change, scientists can do anything. So I read an article that they might extend life for 150 years or some crap like that. So, I mean, who's to know? But as of now, today, whatever date it is, you know, Thursday, it's important to recognize that death sort of is inherent to who we are. It's not this external force that is imposed on us. Okay, so that's just a side note, right? So, we are beings toward death. Right? And this would be sort of the Heideggerian notion of so it's not some external force that's going to sort of impose itself on us. It's that we're moving toward it. We are externalizing this thing. We are moving toward the inevitable, you know, death of our biology, right? The end of life. There is a sense in which there is a fear. We can talk about a fear of death, right? You can have a fear of death. And there is a rational and logical fear of death, right? The fear of my death, my fear of my own death, is a rational, logical consequence of sort of enjoying my own life. O-O-G. Right? So this is a logical, rational fear of death. I have a healthy respect for my mortality. I have no delusions that I am going to live forever. I know that one day I'm going to die. I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know how I'm going to die, but I know that it's going to happen. And I am motivated by, Jason Campbell, I am motivated by my fear of death. I have a healthy recognition of my mortality. Right? Now, my mortality, that fear doesn't debilitate me personally. Right? That fear of death isn't something that I see as antithetical to who it is that I am, because I recognize that it is part of who I am. And I have a healthy and respectable fear of death. So my relationship, and I'm using me just so that you understand on a sort of ghetto level, my relationship to death is and serves as a motivation to get as much done as quickly and as effectively and as accurately as possible, because time is precious. So excellence governs everything that I do. I want to try and be the best that I can possibly be. I won't be the best in the world, but I want to be the best that I can possibly be, functioning at the highest levels of cognitive rationality and deliberation that I can possibly attain, and try and educate as many people as I can. That's what I am. I'm an educator. This is who I've come to be. So I recognize that, dude, my time is limited. Now, in cyberspace, I might live on forever. That's a great idea. It sounds good. Yeah, I'm doing this because it's, you know, part of me is like, well, you know, after I'm dead, I'll be alive in cyberspace. But the truth is that now is the time. You know, I have tattooed on my arm. It was one of the first tattoos that I ever got, was now, the words now or never. Do it now or don't do it, right? We need to do it right now, or just stop talking about it, right? Don't talk about it, be about it. So the idea is, with respect to death, there's a healthy, rational, logical fear that I should have of death. And that logical fear of death should inform my actions and should motivate me to try and attain excellence throughout my life, because I'm not going to have this forever, right? So do as much as you can, be the best that you can with the limited time that you have. Okay, now, there's an error that's made, however, right? And as we said before, that fear of death, now I have a good fear, a healthy fear of death, and as I said, psychoanalysts later, after Nietzsche, they go crazy on this notion of death and how death impacts human consciousness, and how death impacts my awareness of self and others and so on, right? Well, what ends up happening is, first of all, not everybody has a healthy fear of death, right? Most people have a very sort of visceral, guttural, irrational fear of death, right? But it's not just death in the biological sense. What they have is, Nietzsche says, a fear of AFT, after death, right? So they posit the idea, and I should have looked it up. There is I really should have looked it up, and I can't remember. It's Frege. There's a logical argument, and I can't remember. I wrote it in my dissertation. It just popped in my head, and I can't remember the name of the logical formulation. It's an error that's made, and I'll give you an example. Part of me just wants to pause the video and find the answer. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I usually never interrupt my videos, but I'm going to pause because I want to incorporate this in the notes. It just popped in my head. I wrote it in the dissertation. It has to do with Godzilla, of all things. I'm going to pause the video, look it up, and then come back to the video and then pick up about this irrational fear of the after death. So I'm going to pause right here.